Good morning, good morning. How are you? It's been a while. I'm sitting in my comfy chair, sort of. I look like I've got... What's happening to my belly? That's weird. I look like I've just blobbed out. Hope you're all doing all right. It's been a while since my last, I was going to say confession, since my last video, so I thought I'd get one in here now. I'll put this top on. Don't bet much, Mike. I'll put this top on after a period of months of not wearing it. And I feel like I'm a sausage in a skin, so I've got to lose some weight quick. Otherwise, all my clothes are going to be ripping off me like crazy, which is a weird thing and not what anyone wants. What's been happening? Still working on the old New Year's resolutions. That's a work in progress, which is odd considering the fact it's nearly March. It is, in fact, for a time check, 10 to 10 on Sunday the 22nd of February. I had to think about it for a second there. Don't ask me what year it is because I ain't got a clue. So that's still ongoing, which means that I'm being lazy with it. I've really got to sort it out. This has got to be my day of my line in the sand, as it were. Excuse me. Work's still going okay. Still have my moments where I'm a bit disillusioned with stuff, but then you get that all the time anyway. That's work for you. Is that... I've got to sit up straight. This is ridiculous. Come here. There you go. That's better. No, look. Ooh, God. Damn. Not even got mount. This top is not doing anything for my figure. It's terrible. Whatever. Yeah. I mean, what do I chat about today? It's quite amazing when you're working in a situation that I work in, and you have a town basically that's, in all fair purposes, dying on its arse because of lack of any sort of what I'd class as caring and understanding, I think. Let's put it this way. We basically have a place that if you ever look on social media, which is getting less social by the second. There's so many adverts. It's not social media at all now. It's actually advert media, which is ridiculous. I've got a cup of coffee here somewhere. Damn, I left it in the kitchen. Never mind. I might have to go and pick it up. Yeah, if you ever look on social media, you'll always turn around and I think it happens with most towns and cities. There's always this complaint that there's too many charity shops. There's so many charity shops. What are you going to do? In the space of a week, this last week, we've lost 2 charity shops. I'm assuming there's no comparison to the fact it's near the end of the financial year, which is probably what it's done it. So you've got basically 2 more spaces in a long list of spaces that we have that have got buildings that are empty. And it just makes everything look ridiculous. It's a shame for, like I say, I worked in the charity sector, and it's a shame to see any shops going, especially when it's shops or whatever you want to call them that actually are supposed to be there to help other people. No, we've actually lost 3 charity shops. One was actually down to building problems. So that's 3 charity shops gone in the space of a month, basically. So all those whiners online who turn around and say, oh yeah, the town's got too many, there's charity shops everywhere. Well, now you're going to be happy because instead of a charity shop, you're going to have an empty space. So, my feeling is that if you're not a big fan of charity shops, don't fucking go in them. Just ignore it. A lot of people don't, I don't ever go to barbers. I just ignore it. You know what I mean? For obvious reasons. But it crazes me how people can make a judgment call on something without figuring out what the consequences can be. Like I say, we're going to have now 3 buildings that are empty. Put it on top of the already existing... I can't even count how many buildings we've got that are empty. 1, 2, double figures, I think. And my argument is that you really can't call a town if the town centre is bereft of everything. I mean, the marketplace is also, the rents on that are probably quite exorbitant. So we don't get, we're classed as a market town without actually having a decent market, which is astounding to me. How you can still call something that. But yeah, it just beggars belief that we can actually let these sort of things slide. You know, you lose a shop in a town, okay, you lose 2, 3 possibly, depending on the size of the town. But they seem to forget that that's what brings people together. You know, the whole ecosystem of a town is to have a working town. Excuse me. And it just annoys me. I think it's, you know, nobody seems to want to do anything about it. Or if they do, they just can't be bothered. Or if they can be bothered, they just don't think it's worth it financially, which is, again, strange because you've got a lot of places that have landlords for the shop buildings that refuse to lower rents and would rather have a shop left empty than not be getting paid rent on it. I don't understand that logic at all. I would have thought it would be in the best interests of a business to actually have the business or the rent being paid rather than not. So that, again, it seems to be, I don't know if it's a lazy thing or it's just a bullshit situation where a landlord will refuse to waver on something out of principle. I don't know. Or they're going to think, I mean, the thing is, all they have to do is look around the rest of the town and see how many buildings have been left empty for 6 months, a year, 2 years, to actually turn around and make you think, okay, so maybe the rents are ridiculous and we need to do something. Got another shop just down the road from me that is waiting for the landlord, what's the word? They're going to have a meeting about the rent to see if they can do anything about it. Again, it's another situation. If the landlord sticks to his guns, you've got an empty shop that's not having rent paid in it. So I don't see how that works. I think there's a way of getting around it by using it as a storage area, which I think bypasses a law to say you have to pay so-and-so on it or something like that, which I think is ridiculous as well. So basically you could put a box in the middle of a shop, call it storage, and you're dodging some sort of tax thing or paying for something. I don't know the legalities of it all. I'm not a lawyer. I know, looking at this top, you would think I am a lawyer, but I'm not. But yeah, I think, but it's not just the town I live in. It's lots of towns that are feeling the pinch. Personally, if I need to buy something, I will go local first, and if I can't get hold of it there, I will then go online. Whereas I think the general consensus is that you just basically pick up your phone, go onto Amazon or Temu or whatever it's called, or something like that, one of the other ones. You order it, some bloke or woman turns up at your door. You haven't have to move, you haven't have to lift a footstep, which didn't make sense as a sentence. You don't have to even walk anywhere to get the parcel delivered. Now, I'd rather buy something face to face. If I want electronics, for example, I would rather buy it where I can see it. If that's not always possible, obviously, in which case then you do the online thing. I don't really get why, but the trouble is the people who do this also complain about the town they live in, how it's not got anything. It's like, yeah, but that's because you're fucking well going online and buying everything and you're putting people out of business. Like I said, with the charity shops, it's going to be annoying to have people who have just turned around and gone, there's too many charity shops. And why is there always so many charity shops? Your wish has been granted, you're a fucking idiot. You've basically turned around and got to a point where instead of having filled spaces, you're going to have empty ones. So then the same people will be bitching about the fact that there's nothing, whereas you had something. Your logic is shit. Shut the fuck up, basically. Do your social media thing. Bye. Well, it thought my arm was my face, which is worrying. It's going to do it again. No, that time it worked. So yeah, just a quickish video on that. Really, I mean, it's quite upsetting in a sort of way. I don't really do emotions, to be fair, but it's kind of sad to see things like this happening. Can they stop it? I mean, once the rot's set in, is it worth? It's worth it, but is it? Are you able to actually do anything about it? I don't know, but then at least try. Putting a few flower pots down does not make a town. Let's put it that way, and that's what it seems to be. It's just like, what was it? There's a place, I was watching it on Bald and Bankrupt. There's a place up north of England, again, not a sentence, in the north of England, I think it was, where they've actually made fake doors and windows on an estate to make it look like it's inhabited. The place is barren, it's empty, it's actually a housing estate, and everyone's moved out, but they've actually faked it by putting fake doors and window coverings over the empty houses to make it look like there's actually people there. In my town, for a lot of the places, they used to put down, cover it with posters and stuff, or murals or something like that. That's, to me, that's the equivalent of taking a shit and not wiping your ass. I mean, I know it sounds a bit strange, but it's, you can't cover up something. You still know it's there. Putting something pretty over the top of it doesn't make it any less empty than it was before, but that seems to be the thing to do. It's just like whitewashing it, covering it over, just turning around and going, oh, nothing to see here mentality, which to me is ridiculous, foolish, and what's the other word I'm looking for? I can't think of it. Insulting. It's insulting to actually see these sort of things. So yeah, that's the basis of the town thing I wanted to talk about today, because it is quite amazing in a bad way to see how towns can be affected. And like I say, it works with a lot of towns, not just the one I live in. It's nationwide. It's countrywide, and they got to do something. I mean, there's no, nowadays it's a case of they want to tax everything. They want to vape juice is going to be taxed, so it's more expensive. I think there's something about taxing driveways that have electric vehicles on them. When you're charging an electric vehicle, you get taxed. Where initially, the electric car was there supposed to be as the alternative to fossil fuels that were supposed to help the planet, but now you're turning people round. Same with the vaping situation, which I'm in. Your cigarettes, then you brought out the vapes to combat the cigarettes, and I don't care what anyone says, vaping hasn't got all the shit in it that cigarettes has. I would say that being in the business, but it's true. But if they tax the vaping too much, then people aren't going to come off the cigarettes. And would you believe it, the government's going to get 2 lots of tax instead of just 1. Or they'll say, well, in that case, just quit, which doesn't make any sense, because people who have been smoking for 20 years don't just turn and go, do you know what? I'll just leave it. Put your packet down in the bin, and then just, it makes no sense. But it's the same with the town thing, which I was, talking about before I got sidetracked in my own head. You've got to make it more appealing. You've got to make it more appealing to people who visit the town, who live in the town, and who want to make a start with a business in the town. Legitimate businesses, this is. Not the ones that, the cash-only bullshit, where you turn around and just, oh yeah, £10 cash. Oh, yeah, suddenly forgot to declare that. Yeah, it's not on the books, is it? No, we just put that to one side. Fuck off. Sick of those shops. Just give us shops that are, when I was younger, several hundred years ago, we had, in my town where I lived, we had literally the classic. You had a butcher's, you had a baker's, didn't have a candlestick maker. Possibly might have done. You had the locksmith, you had the small grocery areas, a post office. You can't get a post office anymore. Our town, the post office is shut. Don't know when it's going to open up again. They've put something in its place, which isn't the same. It just covers things. You've got no banks. It's quite ironic to go past a bank now and still see the posters in the window saying, come in and see us to sort out this. It's like, and it's been shut for months. They'd rather take all that, put it in a hub, and one day a week you can go and see your financial advisor, which is great if you are au fait with online banking and you trust it. But if you're, for example, an 80-year-old woman, they don't want to do all that shit. They want to speak face to face with a person, which is what a lot of things. I've had that myself in my shop. People have come in and said, you can get stuff online, but they'd rather talk to a person to get the inside information or how it works. And this is, that's one of the good parts of the job, is that people actually appreciate the fact that you know what you're talking about, sort of, sometimes, unless you blag it. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, it just annoys the shit out of me, to be honest. I think it's just ridiculous. How we could have at one point have had a thriving, even the smallest towns had a thriving retail area where you'd know people, you'd smile, hello, and all the rest of it. And now it's just decimated to a point of ridiculousness. But yet a government will still want to take more money out of your pocket to pay for shit that they want to pay for and not for what we want it for. It's getting a little bit political, but it works in that respect. You can't have clarity when it comes to stuff like that. Get it into perspective. Give the people what they want and need, more importantly what they need. Get the community together and everyone's happier. It's like when the sun's wintertime, the sun's not out. Today the sun's out, you automatically feel better. Same thing with people who are in a happy mood. If you're surrounded by people in a happy mood, you inevitably will be in a happier mood because it radiates. That's how it works. If you walk into a town that looks grey and meaningless, you automatically want to get the fuck out of there. I did that to a seaside town years ago. I remember it in my childhood. It was like a fascinating, fantastic place. It was, we want to go. And maybe it's the years that go by. I went to it, this is quite a few years ago, with my cousin actually. And we were there 45 minutes and I was just like, this is shit. It looked grey and crap. And even there, it was just like, they just boarded up places as the same thing again. This was years ago. It's like, well, where's the magic gone? Where is it? What's happening? Why have we got to this level where the internet is to blame, a lot of it. Ironically, I'm on the internet saying about the internet, but the internet's a hell of a lot to blame for this because you don't, you've got a point where you don't have to speak to people face to face. You don't have to integrate yourself into a group situation. You can have a group situation on the phone or on your tablet or on, on a laptop or whatever. It's just nuts. People don't know how to be people anymore. I think there's probably people out there who would love to be like the old Tron thing where they like to be zapped into the machine so they can just spend their time in there interacting with other people of the same, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I wish I did. I wish there was a way to work through it to make things better. But it just seems to be the rot sets in. Not being funny, if you've got mildew in your house, you get mildew remover, you get that shit out of there. But apparently nowadays it's kind of like you turn around, you've got a town, we've got a retail park. So even if you wanted to have shops in the town, they all fuck off to the retail park. How's that work? Same in a local town. A lovely town. It was a car park in the middle, surrounded by shops. Half of them are shut, and they fucked off to the retail park, literally just up the road. because it looks fancy, it looks swish, it's the future. No, it's not the future. It's the decimation of everything that works on the shop, on the retail side. You know, so I don't know. My next video is not going to be like this. It's going to be a little bit more light-hearted. I think it's just been one of those sort of like couple of weeks where you just see things sort of crumbling like that, and it's just ridiculous. So I thought I'd make a video on it just to cheer everyone up. Not really, is it? Not really cheerful, is it? I'm going to try and do some videos on cooking. I know it's a bit of a leap from one to the other, wasn't it? I've got to just sort of figure out how to set it all up. But I'm going to do some videos on cooking some dishes and the disaster that waits afterwards. So that'll be something different anyway. And I'll try and make them a bit more light-hearted. Let's be honest. This is quite a dour video, to be fair. I mean, it's, you know, you don't want to be listening to this shit. But if you have got this far, then thank you very much. If you haven't, then it doesn't fucking matter anyway, because you won't be hearing this. So, so if you're still there, thank you. If you're not, possibly I don't blame you. But you won't hear this anyway. So yeah, so I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to go and finish my cold cup of coffee, which I've left somewhere. And yeah, and I'm going to try and switch this video off without looking like I'm lurching at you. I don't think it's got voice commands on this, which is a bit of a shame. Anyway, that's it. The next one will be a bit more cheerful. I'll just come up with some random shit that I'll talk about and put a bit of a spin on it and having a laugh and all the rest of it. So there you go. Anyway, watch me lurch unless I edit this bit out. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.